All right, guys, welcome to the Money Mix podcast number 15. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Al, that's Stan. So, Stan, take it away.
All right, guys. Huge news that came out yesterday, and XRP exploded upon that news, going from 47 cents all the way to, I believe, 94 cents. And the reason why it actually did that was because it won a huge lawsuit against the SEC. Um, a lot of people were claiming that XRP was a security, but the thing is that we know for a fact if it's traded on the secondary market, it cannot be a security. And the judge ruled correctly and stated that XRP is not a security. So, what do you think, Al? How does this
Well,
change the landscape of cryptocurrencies?
I think that for people that don't follow cryptocurrency all that much, or maybe have a little bit invested but don't really follow this, is that this is a big change because this is something the FCC has been going after for a while to, and that's actually one of the big reasons why the crypto market has been down. Not the main reason, but a big reason for it. And there's lawsuits currently against Binance and Coinbase by the FCC because of that. So this basically helps all crypto. And that's the reason why we're even talking about this now. It's not only for
Right.
XRP, which is a coin, but it's for basically for all cryptos. And that's why all cryptos actually have gone up because of this news in particular. I
Right.
think that this is really big as long as they could use this as a precedent for the other coins. I think
Yeah.
this is really really large news, and this is kind of like potentially the tip of the iceberg. This could be something that really changes a lot for crypto. And my question to you, because like you really know this way better than I do,
I
do
hope so.
you do you, okay? Do you think that this is something that if people like, do you think that this is the time that people would benefit the most from investing, or do you think this is a time to wait because most
Or,
things are most likely are going to drop and then they're going to come back up? What do you
right.
think of it?
Okay, obviously this is not financial
No.
advice, but I mean, I think that we're heading into the new bull market, and with clarity on this issue and what it brings to the overall crypto market is huge. We've never had any direction on whether cryptocurrencies are securities or they're not securities. They've been called commodities before, and Gary Gensler from the SEC came out and said that definitely Bitcoin itself is not a security. So now that there's clarity that XRP is not a security, then obviously Ethereum and other coins that are being sold in the secondary market are not securities. Yes, I think that we are still going to have a pullback just because the macroeconomics have not been resolved as of yet. We are in a poor economic environment, even though there's some data coming back that the inflation is only at 3%. I don't really buy that, but obviously that's really good news for all the markets, right? But I really do think that people still need to wait and see how high prices will go, just because this kind of like opens the floodgates. That's what I think. It opens the floodgates
Hmm.
to financial institutions, and I think that's the reason why they came back when they came back, and they declared XRP not a security. Now this, because look at it this way: there are spot ETFs that have been filed by BlackRock and other big corporations, right? So what does that mean? That means that the big boys are ready to come in. So I mean, there's no real guessing game here. You just have to face the facts and see that crypto right now is for real. It's not going to reflect the price as of yet. So we still have to wait and see when that's going to happen. I think that we still have to go through a hurdle of interest rates and printing of money and how the dollar performs. So, but I really do think that next year is going to be the real boom for crypto.
Wow. Okay.
I,
So
I don't know if
you're
you,
still like kind of stuck with the like next year is when things are going to happen.
yeah, because yet again, like I just try to explain, the Fed is probably not done raising interest rates yet. I mean, they're making it sound really good, but I think they might still raise it 2 or 3 more times. If
So
they don't,
wait. So what effect do you? I understand the point you're making right now, but what effect do you think that this particular case will have on the current prices in the next, let's say, month? Do you think it's going to have any real effect, or do you think
right.
it's just like a long term effect? Do you think?
Well, obviously it's a long-term
No, no, no.
effect,
I don't mean.
100%,
I don't mean.
right?
Hold on. I didn't mean it in the sense of like any technically anything would happen would be a long term effect. I meant like a long term effect as in we won't see anything now aside from what we've seen so far. We won't see
Yeah.
anything now aside from this. There won't anything else won't happen. Like,
No, no, no.
or do you think we'll like
Actually,
within the next month we'll see big changes in crypto?
I wouldn't necessarily say big changes, but I still think there's a potential that Bitcoin goes anywhere from 40 to 48,000, and then have a huge retracement back to anywhere 25,000 to maybe $20,000. So what I'm trying to say is that that will be the last time that I think that Bitcoin will be at that price. That's what I, because I think next bull run, which is this bull run I'm talking about, I think that the minimum Bitcoin will go to is 99,000. But a lot of people are calling for 100 and something thousand, 200,000. I don't think so. I think that right now, Bitcoin is going to provide diminishing returns, and
Wow. Okay.
I don't think it's going to be skyrocketing like 10, 20 times, 30 times. You know what I mean? Because there's already a lot of money in it. I don't know what you think about that.
In terms of specifically a Bitcoin, or are you talking about crypto in general?
Well, with this like being resolved, like where do you think that Bitcoin?
I think we're actually going to see changes more sooner than later, because of this. I think that as long as basically, I think it relies on this. As long as, uh, because okay, so the two biggest coin exchange places or crypto exchange places in the United States, which is Binance and Coinbase, are both in lawsuits with the SEC. If they could use this as if they could use this case right now with XRP, if they could use it as a precedent and they could beat those cases, I think we're going to see a huge jump in crypto.
Yeah.
That's basically what I see. The question is, how long would that take, or if that is going to happen? That's still up for debate. I could see it happening. Again, that's usually how law works, or I should say, court lawsuits work. Is if there's a precedence, you could use that and go, hey, if XRP is not a security, then we didn't do anything wrong. All our
Right.
cryptos are not securities.
Well, here's the thing. Like once Coinbase found out that XRP won the case, they within hours they relisted XRP, right?
There you go. Yeah.
So, I mean, they're very positive about the outcome, and obviously they know they can use it, and they will use
Yes.
it, and I'm sure that they will win, if not everything, but majority. Like XRP lost. I don't know if you know this, but XRP actually lost on the fact that it sold XRP to institutions. And when you sell XRP to institutions and accredited investors and places and people like that, then technically it's considered a security. So when it comes to that end of the business, they're still going to have to pay a fine. But the news about the fact that they won, that it's currently not a security, is tremendous. And the same thing, Coinbase has been sued for selling securities, right? Because
Right.
Cardano, they said, is a security, and Solana and Matic and XRP. Well, since XRP won the fact that on the secondary market they're not a security, then Coinbase automatically wins that, and Binance as well. So I mean, there's literally no doubt that once that news comes back, then we're gonna go higher. But I don't think that anything changes as far as like, oh, Bitcoin's going back to 69,000 after that news and beyond. I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna happen. So
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about that because I mean, you might be right. You might be wrong. I mean, we've seen the market too many times now do the up and down that for me to say it'll
yeah,
never happen again. I don't know, but
yeah,
I do see your point. But I just I'm not as like rigid on the idea that uh, this won't like. I kind of feel like it still might do the up and down game for some reason. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I agree. Well, it's gonna do up and down. I think up. Well, look, the halvening for Bitcoin is coming up very soon, right?
what I'm
So
sorry. What is that?
okay, so halvening is when, for example, let's say I'm just making something up because I don't remember how many bitcoins they produce in a block. So each
Mhm.
bitcoin is produced in a block, okay? And
Right.
then let's say it's 100 bitcoin per block. And
Right.
then when you have halvening, instead of producing 100 bitcoin, you're going to produce 50 bitcoin. So it's every 4 years, right? And every time it gets cut in half. So next 4 years, it'll go down to 25. And the next 4 years, it'll go down to like 17 and a half, right? So it
That
keeps on giving, it keeps on producing less and less Bitcoin every 4 years, pretty much.
right. So
That's
uh,
yeah.
it's sort of similar to like how stocks would basically they make them smaller so that the price would be lower, but at the same time they just make more stocks.
Well, it's like the shares of the stocks, right? I
Right. Yeah.
mean,
That's what I
that's
mean.
yeah. It's like yeah, yeah. So and every 4 years, Bitcoin explodes. Like it's never happened where Bitcoin just went flat, right?
Right.
So it's scarcity essentially,
Right.
and yeah. So once the halving is completed, usually cryptos go crazy.
Right.
So
I feel
yeah.
like I
So
feel like
that's pretty much
we
what
could
we're.
agree that we're like we not necessarily see eye to eye maybe when the numbers will go up or whatever, but I think we could agree that this case in particular is basically a game changer, I think, in a lot of ways. And if you're somebody who's like thinking about investing and stuff like that, it's the question of like, is this the right time to not necessarily invest, but just start looking into it? Would you say that,
I
or would you say no?
I mean, I would have said that years ago, but yeah, right
Well, okay,
now
yeah, yeah, but we're talking
is
about
actually
specifically for this
kind
reason.
of-
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I I, I think I've told the story before, and it's very interesting. So I listened to this YouTuber, and he had his father-in-law on, and he was a very good stock trader, right?
Hmm.
And this is before Bitcoin, I think, even went to like 20K. So I think it was like around like 3,000. And so what he told his son-in-law was that, like, I would not invest into crypto right now just because it's not regulated, right? And I was like thinking about that, like that doesn't make any sense to me, because he did say that looking at he was a very good technical analyst, right? So he would look at the chart and he would be able to tell what's going on, right? When potentially it's going up, down, sideways, right? and he looked at Bitcoin and he said that the chart is actually looking really good. I think that it's gonna break out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like thinking, wait a second, like you know that the price is cheap, and you see the chart, you like the chart, but he said I'm not gonna invest into it not till the big institutions come in, right?
Right.
And I was like thinking, but you know, when the big institutions come in, you're not going to be able to make as much money, not even close as to as much money as if you were to invest before them, right? It's always buy the rumor and then sell the news. And I was just shocked that he was essentially like saying that. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to say. As of right now, you know what the news is, right? That pretty
Mm-hmm.
much like pretty much all of cryptos right now that are on the secondary market are not securities. What does that mean? That means that this is probably the best buying opportunity you'll ever have in a lifetime. Not financial advice. Don't listen to me. Don't invest, just based on my
Yeah.
word.
Invest. This is the
You know,
best time to
so
invest. But don't listen to me. I'm not telling you
yeah,
to invest.
well, that's what
Um,
I'm essentially that's what I'm doing. I don't care what anybody else does. But
right.
you should read the news. You should understand what's going on and do whatever you want. That's pretty
Yeah.
much what I'm
I would
saying.
say. I would say. This is the time to start really looking into it. And the thing is, the the truth is that Stan is way more into crypto than I am in terms of like his belief, in terms of his knowledge uh, about it and everything. He's way more. And even me, who is not very like literate when it comes to crypto, I see this as being a pretty big window to basically start looking into. And again, I don't really care if people invest or anything. It's just to me, it's just like this is a very clear window that like it seems like crypto is going to make a jump. And yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely looking into it. I'm definitely investing myself, and I think everybody should just look into it. That's it. But again,
Right.
not advice for investing.
Right.
Just if you
Exactly.
if you
Exactly.
want. So all right, so
Absolutely.
I think we're kind of set on that topic. Let's move on to the next topic, and this one is big, and it's the question of how much of an effect this is actually going to have, though. So the next topic is so writers and actors go on strike. Um, this is this is big in a few different ways. One of it is that well obviously there's not going to be movies or TV shows made at the moment because well there's not going to be any actors or writers for it, so that goes out. The problem is that this is the time when most movies, most TV shows are not doing as well as they used to. So you have channels already suffering, whether it's Amazon investing $1 billion into Lord of the Rings and definitely not having the same viewership as they wanted to have, or Disney investing into their movies and seeing Indiana Jones and Little Mermaid not doing as well as they wanted. Um, there's just so much money being poured in, and they're definitely not making their money back at the moment. Um, so to be at this moment for everyone asking for more money and more control and more ownership of anything that they write or anything that they act in, this is a potentially not the best time to do the strike. Now, given that the strike
Right.
is on, they are asking for a lot of things. What kind of effect do you think, Stan, this is going to have on, I guess, the whole industry? Let's start with that first.
I think it's temporary. I think that they may not reach an agreement.
Wait, wait,
People are
wait, 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 wait. Those are contradicting statements. It's temporary, but they're not going to reach an agreement. Then that won't be temporary. It'll be a long time. They don't reach an
no,
agreement.
no, no. I really don't think so. I mean, the economy is not in a good place. I think there's a chance. Either look,
So,
they
so
might.
you're saying the writers and actors are quickly gonna give. They're just gonna go, okay, screw it. So, and like within a week
Maybe,
or two,
maybe
they'll just say,
maybe not the actors, maybe not everybody, because it's
well, remember,
based
remember,
on
these are unions, so it's everyone or not.
I see. I see. So it's union. Okay, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, since it's union, that's a little tricky, and I think it's actually bad for the individuals. But they could actually disassociate themselves from the union. I'm assuming, right? So they can, go back to work. The thing is the economy is really, really bad. I think people are going to need
Well,
money.
well,
There's a chance. There is a chance that they may cut it short. I don't know, but I don't
I
think it
do, I
affects
do,
Hollywood.
I do. Sorry, I just want to add a caveat to it. This is specifically in the U.S. So meaning,
Yeah.
if they want to hire, like, if they want to do their movies in Canada, or they want to, well, actually, I'm not sure if Canada. There's a chance Canada might be an exception, but if they want to do it in London, they want to go Ireland, they want to go to any other country
Right,
for that matter, they
right, right.
won't have to face whether they could hire the actors there, they could hire the writers there, they can do
Exactly.
whatever they want. So
Exactly.
I just want to add that, because do you think that does have an effect in terms of company, like, for example, Disney or Netflix or anything like that, where they're like, you know what, if we can't hire them but we still need content, do
Yeah.
we go to another country and just do it there while these
Well,
guys are asking for the moon?
I think like in the past decade, like I've noticed more and more of the movies that were made in Europe and other countries, right? And the actors being local, right? So it's much cheaper to actually make a movie in a foreign country than it is in the United States. So I mean, I get the fact that the writers and the actors, they're making or because of the inflation, they're making uh, less income. But the problem with them is that Hollywood can improvise and they can pretty much do whatever they want now. They have so much money that I almost feel like they don't really necessarily care, and I think that they might actually maybe pick the actors that they want to give more money to, if that, because I think these are class C actors, right? They're not even B.
Wait,
You know
who
what I
who
mean?
who are you talking about?
Well, I'm assuming that the actors who are protesting,
Oh, no,
they're
no, no,
not
no, no, no.
level.
There's no, there's
Not
a
level.
there's A-list actors as well. There are.
Oh, oh, that's
There are.
that's that's very interesting.
Yeah,
That
there are.
definitely.
But again, remember, it's a lot of it is also photo op, meaning they'll be there right now, but then,
Ah,
like, they're not actually gonna pick it there every single day. They don't, no, like,
yeah,
they have other things to do. But no, like
right.
the vast
So,
majority of them are there just for, like, yeah, we support this. All right, see you guys later. I'm going to my yacht.
right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that's pretty much what I'm saying. Like there is a chance that if this continues, prolongs, and supposedly, let's say Hollywood loses money, which I don't think they're losing money.
Oh, they
But if
definitely are. Hollywood is definitely losing money.
well, okay, okay, but it's not enough for them. That's what I'm assuming
No,
because
it is.
you
Like,
think so. I
I'm saying,
I
hold on
don't
a
know.
second. I'm saying it is enough in terms of, like, meaning for them to try to find an alternative. That's what I mean by they're losing enough for them. Not as in, like, I don't know if they're going to be able to accept. So, for example, what is his name? The Disney CEO Bob Iger. He just came out and basically, like usually they try to kind of keep quiet about this kind of stuff, but even he's like, hey, the writers and actors are just not being realistic with what they want at the time that they want it. I'm not somebody who's like, I'm not on this. I'm definitely not on the side of, like, big corporations and it's like, oh well, we need to do what they want or anything like that. But at the same time, I kind of see when you have, like, one bomb after another bomb after another bomb, and movies just aren't doing as well, TV shows aren't doing as well, and, like, to go like, hey, we want a raise, we want more of this, we want more of that. I'm like, man, I'm like, I like, maybe one place would allow it, but I can't see everyone accepting that. And they have never done this. Like, the movie, like, even though I mentioned them going outside the U.S. to get actors and writers, they've never done that. But I think if they're put in a really tight spot, I could see that happening. I could see them,
Yeah,
yeah. But let me ask you
I
this.
absolutely.
Okay, I feel like we're kind of on the same page with that. But let me ask you: do you think that people will start feeling this or not? Do you think
People,
yeah, do you think people are gonna get to a point where let's say this is 6 months from now, the strike is still going on, there's no resolution. Do you think people are gonna be like, man, like meaning remember, movie industry is a really large industry that, especially for example, if you're in California, especially like its hands go in so many different places, right? From just a lot of different places. Do you think
right.
economically, with no movies being made for the next 6 months, people are going to start seeing that the jobs are drying up? There's people who are like, there's, for example,
Oh, yeah.
there are like some people who rely on like constant work that pay like $5,000-10,000 a month for their apartment, that now won't have that income for the next whatever
Yeah.
however
Well,
months.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you think
For
that
sure.
will have like a harsh effect on the economy? And I don't mean only
I,
California. I mean basically U.S. wide.
I mean, I don't really think so necessarily because our entire economy, consists of so many industries, but it'll definitely, affect the people that rely, like you said, on the income, right? That they're getting, because it's a steady income, and they always have work, and they don't have to look for anything else on the side. But
Right.
yeah, for a little bit at least, because you have a lot of vendors, right? I mean, I'm assuming there are restaurants that cater and all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that goes on where you get free food, you get maybe entertainment, massages, like who knows, right? What type of perks. Well,
Okay.
but seriously, that actually could be the thing, right? Yeah. Look, there are entertainers, right? Like magicians and other type of people that actually perform for actors, and they do performances, like comedians come on the set, I'm sure, to just for morale and all that stuff, and so yeah, there'll
I don't
be.
know. I don't know. I don't know where are you getting this stuff from? Like where they just
I'm
get magicians and comedians come up on stage
well,
for morale purposes. I don't know where you're
it's
getting
just
that
it's
from.
just it's just entertainment. Like for example, when
Like
I
yeah,
was
there's like
working.
jugglers. They have a circus
No,
come
no,
by. You
no.
know,
No, 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 I
belly
don't mean that.
dancing on the side.
Hey, you
Like
never know. You never know. But
okay,
when I used to
that's
work for
true.
well, when I used to work for a company, we had a
Yeah. Hold on,
motivation.
hold on. There's a difference between a company function versus on set. There's a movie shooting, and on the side you have Tom Cruise looking at a belly dancer and a juggler. Like,
No, no, no,
come on,
it wasn't.
there's a
No, it
difference.
wasn't. Yeah, yeah, but it wasn't a company function. They just brought in
Oh, just
somebody
belly dancers
for.
while you're typing on a
Oh,
keyboard.
no, 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 no. Some motivational speaker came in and spoke to us for like half an hour or so, and that was it. But
Again, but that's a corporate setting though. That's not a like you're
yeah,
describing
yeah.
something very different than actually
I'm
being in a
saying
movie set.
pretty okay, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of vendors that are utilized by
Yes,
Hollywood.
very
So
like a lot.
yeah, so there are people
There's
that
remember
rely.
there's moving vans, there's camera work,
Yeah,
there's effects, there's so many elements that are attached to it, because for a movie you also might need to buy new cameras. For this you need to buy that. It's like
yeah.
it really is a very like a huge ecosystem in and of it, or economy in and of itself. So removing that
Yeah.
completely from the US, I think maybe you're kind of like, oh, it might have a little effect. I kind of feel like it might have a relatively large effect, especially in places where they do see a lot of shooting, like California. I think that this is kind of like the lifeblood of California to some extent, at least. I'd say to some extent, at least.
To
And I
some.
think that there's a lot of people who were living paycheck to paycheck, were expecting those big bucks, and now
Yep.
are like, oh, wait a second, I have this $10,000 apartment that
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I feel like it's going to have a pretty big effects if this lasts for a while. And from everything I hear so far, it seems like the movie industry is not budging on this, so it might last for a while. And if they do
Well,
start to go outside US, I think
Yeah.
that they might have to come to the table and accept even the thing that they don't want to accept. And I'm talking about the writers and the actors.
I absolutely agree with you, and that's pretty much what I was saying. That Hollywood itself, I think they're the ones obviously who have the leverage, right?
Right.
So they can pretty much improve. Look, they can get new actors. Come on,
Sure.
they can get students and this and that, like extras and blah blah blah.
There are,
Uh,
but hold on. I will push a little back on that. I do
yeah,
believe
yeah,
though that there is a difference between, like they could get other actors versus, oh, I can use Tom Cruise. Oh, I can use Kevin Hart. Oh, I can
no,
use The Rock. Do you know what I mean? Like there are actors that you pay because you know that there's going to be a blockbuster movie. You can get
yeah.
there are international actors that you can get, like well, actually I don't know, they might be in the yeah, they probably are also in the, so yeah, you basically would have to get like non-known actors from other countries, and
Yeah,
while
I'm
you can
not
still
talking
do
about,
movies, that's not an easy thing.
but I'm not talking about the A-list actors. You know what I mean?
No, but
Like
I mean
I'm
all actors. I mean most, like the vast majority of actors in the United States, they're part of the union.
No, I get it. I'm saying that they're probably gonna, work out deals with the A-list actors. I'm saying all the other
No, I don't see that. I don't see that. It's such bad
also
publicity for the actors. Well, I'm saying it's never happened, so I mean, we could see, I
okay.
guess, but
We'll have to see how it works out.
all
But
right.
whether it lasts long or not, I have no clue. But definitely, I agree with you that the effects of it. Because I mean, the IT industry is suffering now. The movie industry is suffering, and those are pretty big industries right now.
Right.
And we never know what industry will be next. You know what I mean? Like I remember at a time there were grocery clerks and what have you. They went on a strike. I mean that also is that's a pretty big deal, right? Because so many groceries and like those people are kind of hard to replace in a sense, because you don't have a lot of time to actually do that. So
I think
that
that
was
those
the
are
stuff.
easier people to replace, though.
Well, maybe they're easier,
Because
but the thing you,
the reason why I say that is because they were being replaced. Like they had, like I remember, like one of the times that I remember was like Ralph's. They had,
no,
a strike and everything, and I remember you could still go to Ralph's, and there were, current employees, quote unquote, who were working there, and there was just basically people who were like who needed a job. I think it's much more difficult to replace
yeah,
somebody who's like Tom Cruise for a movie, to go
no,
like, all right,
yeah,
you're gonna do it,
no, you can't replace
Right.
any.
So I'm saying,
But
I think that's the big difference between other places
yeah,
and strikes.
I'm just saying, like, the thing is that like they have self checkouts now and all that stuff. So I mean, it's a little harder to actually replace an actor, right?
Yeah.
But like some simple job, like and I'm not saying I don't think any job is technically easy, but it's easier than being an actor. Checking people out is a little easier than being an actor.
You
So
know what? I'm not. Hold on a second. I'm not gonna go with that. I don't know if necessarily it's easier, like because I mean, like once you know how to
anybody,
act, it's, yeah. I kind of feel like anybody could do it.
nah, I mean,
Meaning, no, I'm saying once you know
not
how
like
to
a
do it.
A-list. Not like a A-list necessarily. I mean, I don't know. Maybe,
No,
but
I think, yeah.
well,
I'm just
you
saying, I'm
also
saying in
need
terms
to
of
have.
difficulty of the job, I would not say a grocer who's like has to like move groceries back and forth and everything like that versus a lister who has to come out for like 30 minutes to act, and then he's in his trailer playing video games and having food brought to him. I don't know if I'm gonna buy that, like he's having a much harder time than somebody who's like standing on their feet the whole entire day moving boxes. It's just, I don't know.
No, he has to prepare, and
Oh
he
my
has to
God, I
prepare.
feel so
It's not
bad
easy.
for him. Yeah, he
No,
has
no, no. But
four
you're
assistants.
saying you're
He
saying
has
that
four
it's
assistants
equivalent.
helping him with them, and he has
Okay,
food brought to him. Oh no.
which wait. I'm not talking about that part, by the way. Okay.
Okay, all right.
but But well, what I'm trying to say, which job is harder to do, acting or being a
No,
grocer?
no, no.
I mean,
Hard again. The difficulty is absolutely in being in doing groceries. It's the question of skill.
the
Yes,
difficulty.
if meaning if me or you were put up right now to go do a blockbuster movie, we don't have the skill to act as well as an
Yeah,
A-list actor. But if
obviously.
either me and you went to school to do that and we're doing that, yeah, of course, it would be much easier than for me to go 8 hours stand in a supermarket. That would be way worse.
Oh
That's
yeah, I mean, you're
that's what I
talking
say.
about like, which one would be a more comfortable job to do. You
Well,
know what I mean? Yeah,
well,
I agree with you.
again, the vast majority of them spend like a few months on set. They spend around 30 minutes of actual acting a day, and the rest of the time they're just fucking off. Basically, that's it. That's literally all they're doing, and they have
Well,
assistants to help them with anything and everything.
right. If you're asking me which one I would rather do, of
No,
course.
I'm definitely not asking which
So
one we'd rather do. Yeah, be an A-list actor or work in Ralph's. Yeah, okay.
yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, okay. This point leads us, by the way, this whole thing leads us to the next topic, which is Disney. Disney, like, basically is in a position that I don't think it saw itself going back to, let's say, to Avengers Endgame, which is maybe what, 3 years ago now, I want to say. It never saw at its height at that point to now, because at that point, even just looking at the stock, it was at basically close to 200, like $191, and now it's $88. So it's less than half of what it was at its height. It's now seeing today. It's now seeing the lowest. Well, not the lowest, but like some of the lowest in terms of actual people coming to Disneyland. They're seeing
Yeah, that's
people.
surprising.
Say
That's
it again.
surprising.
Oh, that's right. Right,
That's
right, exactly.
surprising. Very surprising.
and and their Disney Plus, which seemed like it might steamroll through even what Netflix has now, is people are leaving Disney Plus. Now,
Wow.
there's many, well, not many, but there's a few reasons why for that. One of them is Disney, for example, is really expensive. Going to Disney World right now is like if you have a family of four, you're basically spending over $1,000 just to go there. And
Yeah.
that's
Crazy.
one thing. The other thing is there's now the political issue. For whatever reason, Disney decided that they wanted to give their opinion on politics. I don't have a clue why, but they decided to do that. And at the same time, they started doing the whole, you know, basic, kind of like arguing that, hey, we need representation in movies. And on one side, it's good. On the other side, they weren't listening to the other side of the people as well. So now what you have is you have Democrats on one side saying, don't go to Florida because DeSantis is there and he's bad and Florida is bad. So
Oh my God.
Democrats aren't going to Disney because of that. At the same time, Republicans don't want to support Disney because of all the stances it's taking politically. So now you don't have Republicans going, and you don't have a lot of Democrats who are flying to Florida. So you're seeing the drawback, and you're seeing the same thing
Stupid.
happen online. You're seeing the same thing happen with their movies, and you're seeing the effect that it's having on the stock and how much money they're spending. So my question to you is, do you think we're seeing a similar result now as what potentially maybe like Bud Light is going through right now, or Budweiser is going through, or do you think that this is its own beast, or do you think it's maybe not even that kind of effect?
I don't know. It seems like that particular effect what you just mentioned, right? But that is ridiculous. You know, people are so ingrained into what other people should do or shouldn't do. What does that even have to do with going to Florida? And fine, I mean, you don't want to go to Disneyland, fine, don't go to Disneyland. But I mean, like, not traveling to Florida because of politics is just. And I'm curious how many people actually, rely on that type of information. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. To me, it's
I
stupid.
feel like it's not everyone. Like I don't think all
Right.
Democrats feel that way. but there's definitely Democrats who are like, I'm never going to travel to Florida because that's where those people are. That's where that
Right.
bad person lives, and I'm not going to go there. As a result, I'm
Because
not
of
going to go to
one
that
one
Disneyland.
person. No, but see, I think they associate
Right.
Dos Santos with everyone living in Florida, and I'm sorry if you're actually doing that, you have a low IQ. I mean, that's just a
Right.
fact. I mean, that is dumb. That is like plain,
But
plain.
the thing is,
You know?
people sometimes become so politically blind that to them it's an association. It's like, oh, Florida, bad man. I disagree with him. I'm not gonna go there. Everybody's telling me not to go there. That I'm not gonna go there. And because of that, it doesn't matter that Florida has a big population of people who are on the left. As Disneyland has businesses that support uh, the left. So there is a kind of like this weird thing that happens, but it is having like Disney is feeling, I think, the effect to a point where Bob Iger, the CEO, like I said, he's talking about uh, getting rid of as in selling a lot of the assets that they have, like ABC and some of the other channels that FX and Fox is thinking about selling them. So, I mean, if Disney, which is literally the biggest entertainment company in the world, is going like, hey, we're feeling this. We need to sell some assets, and these are really beneficial assets to them. That's saying a lot. That is saying a lot. I mean, it's showing that they are actually in potentially in trouble. The biggest entertainment company is feeling it. So
That's crazy. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, that's not good. They put it that way. But I mean, what can you
and
really
remember,
do?
and at the
You
same
know?
time, just bringing it back really quickly, at the same time, that's my point with the actors and writers is that this is when they're asking for more money when the
Right.
CEO of the company is going like, hey, by the way, we're gonna have to like potentially sell some assets because, you know,
We're not
we're in
doing
trouble.
well.
And
Yeah.
again, I just want to state this just to play the other side really quick. If he might be playing 3D chess while we're all playing regular chess, in terms of like maybe he's just saying that because to like play it off like, hey, we're in trouble, and they might not be. But in all honesty, I don't buy that just because of how badly the movies that have been doing recently, like whether it was Indiana Jones, or Little Mermaid, or movies before that, that so many Disney movies have underperformed what they expected. That I don't think that he's playing. I really do think Disney is in trouble, and this
I
might
mean,
have like larger effects for economy. I think because just how big Disney is.
well, definitely right now we're not in a place where, I would say that, oh wow, the US is doing great. But I mean, um, the Fed and, the data and all that stuff that came back, the CPI data, I mean, they're pretty much making it seem like, well, we're pretty much back to normal, right? Like we have 3% inflation, and we're not that far away from 2%, and that's when we're going to pretty much reverse our stance. And yeah, I don't buy any of that. I do see that high quality jobs are just not there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, go ahead, do Uber, be a clerk, and I'm sure you'd be able to find those type of jobs. But the high quality jobs, I just don't see them coming back just yet. And that's a lot to do with the economy. That's a lot to do with the high interest rates. Like, I mean, think about another sector that's suffering, right? Another big sector that's suffering is real estate. You know what I mean? It's pretty much been annihilated by high interest rates. Real estate, banking. I mean, when you look at it, there are a lot of companies that are actually in trouble right now, and they're still somehow surviving. And I think the reason why they're surviving is because of during the COVID era, there was a lot of money printing, and that was given out to some companies. So I think they're just hanging on by a thread right now. So I'm not surprised that Disney is not doing well. You
But
know
let me
what I
ask you
mean?
this.
Because
But let me ask you about Disney
yeah,
more in terms of like, do you think, because we had this conversation somewhat in regards to Bud Light, but let me ask you about Disney. Do you think that Disney can turn this around? And if they can, how do you think they can?
well, of course they can turn it around. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it's mostly political that's hurting them. I really do think the economy is bad and people just don't have the money to spend on Disney, like you said. It's
Well,
like
hold
a
on,
thousand thousand
hold on,
dollars
hold
for
on a
a
second.
family, right?
They're
So
they're losing. Remember, they're losing people across the board, though.
yeah,
Like, I'm
yeah.
with you. I'm with you. If, for example, the last few movies people didn't go see, I'm with you on that. They're like, oh yeah, just make better movies, whatever the case is. But if they're looking across the board, where they're like, hey, our movies are not doing as well. People are not going to theme parks, and people are not subscribing to us. Yet there are movies that people are going to. There are subscriptions that people do have, like that are keeping and are
Well,
growing. So
well,
why
I
is Disney going
tell
the
you,
other way?
I think the reason why potentially is because a lot of the movies that they make, at least, are for kids, right? That's what I would assume. And
Yeah, but remember, they're the most popular movies for kids.
they're right,
Or and by the way,
sure.
I would even say for kids as well, because they are making movies that are for kind, like adults, wherever you want to put. Because I mean, they like the biggest money maker for them are superhero movies, and those haven't been doing well. Usually, every single superhero movie they do makes them $1 billion. That hasn't been the case.
Right. Well,
Like
okay. Two, two, two factors. One factor is people can watch from home. So I think that a lot of people
but
have.
wait, okay. But to just to stop you there really quickly, if you say they could watch it at home, the problem is that people are actually canceling the subscription where they would watch those movies at home.
I understand because Disney is not the only outlet for that, right?
For
So
superheroes, no, they pretty much is. I mean,
well,
the
maybe
argument
for
against
super.
HBO Max, but it has way less superhero movies, and they come out really, really rarely.
Okay, I'm just saying that uh, it is strange because if people are not going to the movie theaters to watch their movies, you can say, well, the reason why is because it's child centric, and it's expensive. It's really expensive if you have a big family. It's pretty expensive. But why are they canceling the actual service to watch at home? That I'm not sure about. That one
Well,
is a little strange.
that's where the conversation usually most people admit is that it's political, because if you say "f you" enough to one political side, whether it's the left or the right, they eventually start leaving. And it seems like the whole political thing with DeSantis, the whole political thing about the movies, they've made enough people who went like, you know what, I don't agree to this. I'm not gonna entertain. I'm not gonna watch these movies. I'm not gonna apply to your service, and I'm not gonna go to your theme parks. I think that there's enough people now who are making
Right.
a stance in a similar light to Bud Light, where they're like,
Right. That
I'm
could
done with
also.
this.
I probably think it's all the above. You know what I
But
mean?
let me ask
Uh,
you, I feel like we sort of circled, but we didn't answer. We didn't actually go into the point I was making, or the question I had, which was, what is it that you think that they can do? Because you said your first answer right away was, yeah, they can. What do you think that they can do
easily.
to change things up?
Okay. Well, one, they can lower the price. That's number one.
Okay,
No,
but that's for Disney World, right?
for everything, because if they're struggling with everything,
No, their
they can
their
put
their 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 thing is like the cheapest. Their service for Disney Plus is the cheapest out of all of them. So I mean, I don't know if they
they,
could go. They have to raise it. They're losing money. So I feel like
well, I think to get people back, they can lower it by a little bit. They can
they
apologize. They can apologize
wait. I'm sorry. I apologize for what?
for for being political in one way or another. I'm just saying
Oh
they
no. See again. You
that's
apologize, then you have people on left going, "Well, screw you. I'm out." Even if you have some people on the right come back.
well. they can do it in a
Because I
way
mean,
where,
that's the reason.
you know,
By the way, that's the reason why Budweiser never apologized. They know what happens if they apologize. Then they have people on the left going even bigger screw you, and you might have some people on the right come back. So that's why they're kind of stuck in a place where no apologizing. And I think Disney is in a similar place where they can't apologize because they'll lose the left.
well, they don't. I mean, they could do it in a way, in a clever way. Let's just put it this way.
Okay, yeah,
They
okay,
can
no,
do
no, no, okay,
something.
all right, okay. You
They can
tell
do
me.
something.
Go ahead. You're
I don't know.
Disney. You
I
you you
don't
you
know.
come up with a commercial going like, we want to apologize, but not really. Wink, wink. You know, I don't know how you could do
Well,
a little bit of both.
I don't know. I'm not in that situation. It will take me a while to
Yeah,
figure
yeah,
that out.
and you couldn't. That's the reason they can't either, and they have professionals working on advertising, and they can't do
Well,
it.
I mean, another thing that they could do is essentially buy their time, and but buying their time, people will forget, and they'll come back. So I mean, they could actually reduce uh, their workers, right? I mean, they can lay off people, right? Because
Well, they have,
okay,
they've left off.
well,
They laid off thousands of employees.
well, there you go. So that's one
No, no,
thing
but
that
I'm saying that's not helping. Meaning he's talking about selling other assets because it's not helping. They've lost too much money and they keep on losing money.
well, I mean, then that's what they have to do. Like I said, they have to buy their time
Well,
because
okay, okay, okay. But I mean, like everything so far you said is like to help
that's pretty much
minimally
it.
potentially, but nothing to really turn it around, right? Meaning
Yeah,
like, you
that
know. So I mean,
that to
yeah.
be analyzed. That like they know potentially why they're not doing well, right? I
Well,
don't
let's
necessarily.
let's say for argument's sake, everything that we said in terms of the politics, in terms of the woke culture that they're bringing, the all the things are true. Let's just say all of that is true, and the
Well,
prices.
maybe.
And by the way, and the prices is true, and the economy is true. All of the things are above are true.
Well, the only
You
thing they can come out and say is that, guys, listen, we're not going to be political anymore. We're a company that provides entertainment. We essentially love everybody. We don't want to discriminate against anybody. That's the only thing they can actually do as far as PR goes.
yeah
Uh, uh,
yeah go
you
ahead.
know, I'm saying aside from that, it's just buying time. That's it. There's really nothing else you can really do because I think eventually people will come back, whether they have to make changes as to what kind of entertainment they have, how they do business at Disneyland. That will be up for debate. But listen, look, since the theme park is so expensive to get in, obviously they can lower the price. You know what I mean? That could help because it's really expensive.
That might help in the
Yeah.
short run. I just don't think that helps in the long run because I mean, there's a reason why they raised the prices because they actually a part of it they needed to. But don't get me wrong, they also want the.
Well,
But
I heard.
okay, okay, go ahead.
Well, last point. I heard that the reason why they kept on raising prices were because they had essentially more demand, so they kept on raising it, and the reason they raised it was so that they wouldn't have too many people at the theme park. There were people that were waiting in line for hours to ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
again, that might have been the case maybe before COVID. That might have been before they became very politically like
right.
I kind of went into the whole thing. Um, but to me, I kind of like I have a very pessimistic view of Disney right now in terms of, and again, it's not that I'm against them or anything. I honestly don't have a kind of like I don't care honestly. Like that's kind of where I stand. But I I, I don't see them actually like I don't think Disney will ever be the same. That's basically I guess what I'm trying to get to because I think that they're in a position where the left is still with them, the right seems like is really pushing away. So you have half the country going, "We're not going to watch your movies. We're not going to subscribe to you. We're not going to go to
Who's
Disney
going to take
World."
over? Well,
What?
as far as the theme park, who's going to take over?
take over. No. Hold on a second. I'm not saying anybody take over. They literally
Okay.
would have to lower the price, like you're saying, but that doesn't
Right.
change the fact, like, meaning they'll get more people again, but that means they're still making a smaller profits. It means their stock will go down, right? Because when they do the reports of like how much are you making, we're like, yeah, we're making half as much as we did before, but trust us, we're getting more people now. It's like, oh, okay, but that's still, there's still an issue there. Um, and I
Right.
feel like, they're in a position where how do you recover where you appeal to everyone again? Because I mean
I think
that
that's
was
hard.
like
Yeah.
Disney was one of the companies that appealed to everyone. No one was like, oh, Disney is for those people, Disney is for that. But now I feel like Disney is doing a lot of those things where you have half the country going, this isn't for me or this isn't for my kids. And when you have that, how do you recover? I don't know if you can unless
I
there's like a,
I don't.
up and down, like the CEO gets fired, the new one comes in, goes like, hey, we're gonna take this thing in the right direction. There was a lot of
Right.
problems with it, but we're gonna fix it because Disney has the pedigree. We've been around for a long time. Because remember, like most people might not remember this, but I'll just tell you, years and years ago, Disney was doing flop after flop after flop. There was no political thing about it. They just couldn't make a good movie for like a bunch of years. So what Disney did at that time was they just bought all of the best avenues for them to do movies. So meaning they bought the rights to Star Wars, they bought the rights to Marvel, they bought Pixar, where they're like, hey, our cartoons aren't doing as well. Pixar constantly hits a home run. Let's just buy them, and they did that, and that benefited them for throughout all of these years. The thing is, I don't know who could they buy right now. I don't know
I
what
think it's
cartoon they could
about.
make.
I don't think it's about buying. I think that they're gonna have to change CEO. They're gonna have to tell people that it's his fault and all this and that. It's gonna take some time, but I
But
think
do you
that
think? But do you think that the company, as it is now, do you think it could persist through that time? Because I mean, we're talking
I
about
don't.
years, and we're
Maybe.
talking about during a strike where there's no
Right.
movies or TV shows made.
Maybe. I don't think that's the way to go, right? But they have no other choice but to get rid of the CEO, maybe hire a woman as a CEO. I think that might make a difference, and just decrease the prices, decrease the employees. But
I still sorry. No, no, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
just the last point, just
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the higher the price goes down, this is not financial investment advice, but the lower the price goes, the more I will be interested in buying. That's what I would say.
Well, I mean, it's definitely relatively low now. So if you're somebody who believes that Disney is going to recover, then I think it's a good stock. I am definitely not somebody who believes that. I feel like Disney is only going to go down. I don't see a bright kind of future at the moment for them. If they have only half the country that they're selling their products to, I don't know if they could recover from that. And like you said, they have to lower the price, but that kind of means they're making less money. So
Right.
man,
That's true.
I'm on the side of
They just have to
the same
survive.
thing I
That's
mentioned. Right, right, but I'm on the side of just kind of like do what Starbucks did in the sense where it's just like they went, you know what, this month we're not going to do the Pride Month thing. We're not going to put any decorations out, and they did it because they saw where the temperature of the country was going, and it seems like there's actual people who are not going to go potentially to Starbucks if they had that out. So they're like, you know what, we're just going to step out of that, and it benefited them because their stock didn't change because of it. And it seems like Disney, I think, was too kind of in it itself, like, hey, we're too big, too powerful, too many people that want to see our product, and now I think that they're feeling the pushback, which, like, in all honesty, they never need it. They just make your movies, make your TV show, sell your services, and just do everything that you've been doing, and people wouldn't have said anything. But I feel like this is like one of those self-inflicted wounds that screws them over at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, there are a lot of companies that are screwing themselves over right now. So yet again, none of that.
There's only a few that are potentially going the like, you know, maybe even bankrupt potentially. Because I mean, like Budweiser, I don't know if you heard, Costco, basic like one of the biggest venues, like supermarkets, is saying they're not going to sell, they're not going to stock a Budweiser anymore. You're talking about
Yeah,
the number
that's big
one
time.
beer like 3 months ago to we're not even going to carry it.
Well, I can, you know, guess maybe where it might go. It might go. Oh, yeah, again. I mean, that's true. They might not stock it, but then another,
Sure.
competitor will stock it, and it's going to be. I almost feel like everything's going to be either left or right. You know what I mean? Like if you're on the left, you go to this supermarket. If you're on the right, you go to that supermarket.
It seems like
That'll
we might be heading to that, unless
yeah,
super
yeah.
like the only thing I would say is like, I think companies are kind of realizing it, like an example is like Starbucks, where they're like, you know what, let's just not talk about it. Let's be the supermarket and just a supermarket. Not do all political, like whether it's right leaning or left leaning. Not talk about anything. Just sell the products, give good service. That's it. And I feel like as
Yeah,
long as you do that, you're not going to lose any customers. But if you don't, oh, good luck.
I
Good
agree.
luck right
I
now the way things are.
I
So
I like to buy companies or whatever stocks, cryptos when they're low, and
I
they
agree
still
with you. It's just
yeah.
I think we're in unprecedented territory where I don't know. I genuinely I don't know how Budweiser and Disney recover from this. So I'm like, I don't. I'm not. I'm being very pessimistic in it because that's the only thing I see at the moment. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is temporary, and in a year people will forget, and Disney will be up again.
Yep.
I don't see
Ex-
that, but I can't say that for sure. Anyway,
that's
so
that. Well, last thing, just
yeah, yeah.
one
No, no,
last
no.
thing.
No, go for it.
None of this was financial advice.
If anyone got any financial advice from this, you are reading between the many, many, many lines that are not financial advice. I don't know how you could take that as financial advice. No, yeah,
Exactly.
nothing we said is financial advice. So, but just basically us looking at companies and trying to figure out if this is gonna affect the economy or not, basically. And I think we're kind of like mixed on the whole Disney thing. I think you think that it might recover and has a potential to. I am very pessimistic on it, but that's where we are. We'll see in the future who's right, who's wrong.
Right.
Anyways, guys, thank you guys for joining us again. Hope to see you guys next week. And if you guys like and do all the other fun stuff, we appreciate it. Thank you guys.
All right.
Okay.